Welcome to the fourth episode of The L.I.T Show, Courage. We are here to serve and uplift women from every background by empowering change spiritually, physically, mentally, and socially.
We hold to the belief that if you're willing to strengthen your spiritual life, then your physical, mental, and social strength will follow.
I'm Janie.
And I'm Britt.
And we are lit. Girl,
Wow.
I can't believe we're back.
Episode, what is it, 4?
4. Isn't that crazy?
That
I love
is
your top, by the
wild.
way. It's
I
so
love your
cute.
top, too.
Thank you. It's a dress.
It's like we talked about what we were going to wear
I
before.
know.
We wanted flowers.
Yes. We want to be girly.
Yeah, I love flowers.
So how have you been? How was your week? What's been going on?
It's good. Speaking of flowers, I got a bunch of new flowers, and I planted them. All kinds. Lots of different ones.
You're just like my mama.
Yeah, I love.
We just bought my mama some lantanas.
Yeah, I have 2 little baby lantanas I
remember,
planted. I'm hoping that they survive. Because last year I planted one and it died. But I think I put it in too late in the season. So this year I planted one earlier.
Oh.
So, yeah, it should be okay.
Do they make it through the winter?
I think if they take root enough,
will.
they will. We'll see about that. I should cover them, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
If we get some freezing.
Yeah.
Then maybe.
But we're actually in a true spring this year. Have you noticed that?
Yes, and I love that.
It didn't go from cold to hot.
No.
It went from cold to like cool and nice.
And I love that.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
Nice to have a spring.
Yeah,
It definitely
I
is.
agree. Everything's more green than I've ever seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Like not all burnt up.
I
you know? It's so bright and blinding.
Yes.
And that's all God, isn't it? That's wild.
Is. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, let's talk about courage.
Yeah.
So what we love to do is define things.
Yeah.
So we're going to define courage. Courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. Courage means ready to face a negative situation involving danger or pain, facing a situation without fear. Courage in the Bible, Matthew 14:27, and I think you're reading down to
I'm going to do
32?
27 till 32. And
Okay.
this is one of my most favorite stories.
Me too.
Yeah.
Let's read.
Especially because I can imagine it. Because
Yes.
I won't say where I've been, but maybe later on I will. Anyways, but Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You have little faith," he said. "Why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God."
I love that.
Yeah.
I know I talked about it in our last episode. I'm not sure which episode it was, but so that ocean song kept on going through my head and waking me up, and I was walking around singing it, and you said, "That's us, we're Peter, and we're walking to Jesus on the water." I absolutely love that, and I've read that probably 4 times since you said that. Just enjoying it so much, and just picturing that I'm Peter, just trusting God, having courage, walking out on the water, taking his hand, because this podcast is such a big deal for us.
Yeah.
Like we've said in other episodes, we are not speakers. We are not people that like attention unless we bring it on ourselves.
Right.
We're just not ones to...
I'm a very private person,
Yes.
and for this to go on social media is going to be huge for me.
Yeah.
So
We're not
my life
Facebook
out there is
people.
big.
We're not Instagram people. We're not TikTokers or any YouTubers or anything like that. And just this is such a big, big deal for us. And this is courage.
Yeah, this is courage. We were trying to figure out what we could talk about. Well, here it is.
Yeah. This is
courage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I come back to this story in my head so many times, especially when I'm walking through a lot of hard things in my life. But man, if I'm a visual person
Me too.
when I learn, so I like to just like close my eyes and really think about this very picture right here in my head. So,
I did that. I pictured us walking on the water to
and
Jesus.
trusting him.
Yeah.
That's all he wants us to do, is trust him.
Yeah.
And not look around.
Yeah.
Because when you look around, you fall.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so just grabbing his hand and trusting him, he's got you. It might not be on your timing or their timing.
Yep.
It's on his timing.
Yeah.
So we have to be patient with ourselves with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love what you read at the very last verse about, can you read it again, about that they knew that he was the Son of God?
And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God."
So if we knew that our fear could bring us courage, and if we kept that in our heads, that, hey, we can be courageous. We don't have to be fearful.
Because we have a Son of God that can wipe all of that out for us.
Yeah, and stop the winds.
Right.
I mean, I know we have bad hurricanes here, and when I was younger, I used to be scared of a thunderstorm. So, I mean, it's definitely amazing how much courage you have to have with hurricanes, with just being brave. And that's what courage reminds me of.
Right.
Is being brave.
Right. I agree.
And it's scary, especially when you have a family and you have to be like looking around. And I know you have a lot of plants in your 4 crabs that you have to save too.
Well, I have to have courage daily too with the clientele I have.
Yes.
So there is a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten deep into their lives. They are a part of my family.
Yes.
So it's a big thing because I love my clients. I've grown a great relationship with them.
Yeah, I feel
Some
the
have
same
been
about
with
my
me
customers.
for 20 years. Some have died. I've had 3 people die. But yeah. And my youngest client is 2 years old, and my oldest is 85.
Oh, I love that.
So I've had, the courage to just be with them. And
well, let me tell you something. Just being a hairstylist, you have to have courage.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I've grown a lot in that.
Yeah. I remember we used to go back. And if you're listening, if our clients are listening, we're sorry. But we used to go back into the color room and be like, I think I messed up.
Yeah, it happens.
They're like, no, you didn't. Go out there, girl. You got this.
That's why I love my girls at my job now, because we help one another out.
Amen.
We make sure we have that back room so they can't hear us, because we don't want them to be afraid. We can always fix color. Mind you, clients, we can always fix color.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
We've had some doozies, haven't we?
Yes.
I'm thinking about that. That was wild.
Yeah, we have had.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to read Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And we just talked about that.
Yeah. Just
in hurricane season, just in any kind of situation that you're in, just remember that God is with you, and that you can be strong and brave and courageous in Him, and just lean on Him.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry. Just like, I know where, like, my most courageous times have been at work in the finance company, and I'm really, really brave when it comes to getting money for the company, because insurance companies, they'll give you cash value, which is not the NADA, which is based off of a vehicle value. So they're always lowering what they want to give us, and I am always fighting them back, saying that give my customer more money for your car. Like, they spent this much money on it, and give it back. And a lot of times it's not the insurance company's fault or anything like that. It's because maybe they don't have an option checked on the car, or they don't have the right value because the people didn't let them know that they had bigger tires than what they did. So there's several, factors in it. But just knowing that I have the courage to stand up for my customers,
That's huge.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that. I could not
No.
even imagine doing that job. I mean, I just sitting here listening to you talk right now is like, wow, look at the courage this woman has. Like, that's huge.
Oh, thank you. That's
You're
sweet.
welcome. I know you were having trouble figuring out what courage was for
Yeah.
you, but this is it.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Well, I'm typically a brave person, and when I think of
Yeah.
courage, I think of like jumping out of an airplane, jumping off of a waterfall. I think of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think of like courage. For some reason, I don't think about being courageous or anything like that. I just think of being brave, and I'm typically a brave person.
Yeah, you are, and that's why you're one of my closest friends. I mean, you are my closest friend
yeah.
besides Jesus, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Oh.
Like, because you are so courageous.
Oh.
You're like built strong, and I like need
Yeah.
a friend like you and
Yeah.
with me, like to be
Well,
equally
I feel
yoked
like
with
you're
me.
like that.
Yeah,
I
so I guess
definitely
we
feel
work.
like you're brave and courageous.
Yeah.
We're definitely not scared of much.
No.
I mean,
Look at what we're doing.
I know.
So, you know.
yeah, this is definitely very brave. Do you want to share one of your stories about
My story's pretty
deep?
Yeah, I had to have a lot of courage, and it took me a long time to have the courage to do this. One of the hardest times of my life was finding the courage to accept the fact that it was time to redirect my lifestyle and change of who I surrounded myself with by putting down alcohol and disconnecting from a party lifestyle that was destroying who I was inside. I was on a constant loop, beating myself up in and out of unhealthy relationships with guys and friendships that were never lasting. Being at the end of my wits, depleting all of my love for myself, I decided to make a decision to stop drinking alcohol. For at first in a small challenge by choosing to stop for 30 days, and then 30 turned into 60 and 60 turned into 90, and moving forward till now. I mean, by September 5th now, I'll be sober 3 years.
Wow, that is amazing.
So the courage to like stand up for that for myself and just make a decision to do that was very big, because it was a lifestyle change for me.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, a huge shift.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I had to let a lot of people go, and the courage to that, to like grab Peter's or grab Jesus' hand, being Peter and grabbing Jesus' hand, and no one else was around me. Yeah, that happened to me.
That's wild.
I had to let everybody go, including alcohol. I actually had to let myself go. My whole identity had to be shifted.
What made you, this is like so amazing to me, but what made you say, I want to do 30 days? And then after you got done with your 60, what made you say, after your 30, what made you say, I want to do 60, I want to do 90?
Well, when I first decided to do 30, I was so tired that day after, drinking from the age of 14 to 39 every weekend. Living that constant party lifestyle. Every Friday it was a party. It was time to go celebrate our lives, and we used alcohol. I think I just got to a point where I was exhausted, and something shifted when I was out there cleaning the yard up after a huge party we had. And I don't know, it just hit me. I think too, maybe because my mom had been sober for probably 5 years at that point.
Oh, wow.
And her and I had been walking together a lot that year, like 3-4 times a week. We were like really walking.
I remember.
And I couldn't believe
you
that,
guys
living
were doing
this
5Ks
lifestyle.
too.
Yes. And I started questioning my mom, and that last year leading to that point of deciding to do the 30 days, asking her like, Mom, how did you feel? Or when did you decide to do that? What did you do? Like, what friends did you, like, what did you do? Because I don't know any other way, So I just started listening to her, and I think that helped me a lot. And just talking to people that have a different lifestyle. And luckily the clientele I had.
Was it tough for your mom?
Yes.
There
was a shift
the majority
in
of her. Okay, so she had to kind of change her.
Yeah.
So
you have to change your people, places, and things when you decide to drink, because
right.
the temptations are so real.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're trying to, like, change, you can't change if you're going to sit in the same atmosphere as what you were doing before. So I had to really have the courage to, like, totally change everything that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was yearning for was the little moments that I had drank away.
Mm-hmm.
Even the smallest moments I was not really paying attention to, because I was consuming alcohol to drown all those things and not listening.
Yeah.
And just, I could go on for days about that. But yeah.
And I know my brother, he runs a recovery center. It's in Brunswick County. And I know, talking to some of them, they said that alcohol is one of the hardest things to quit because it's everywhere and it's easy to get. Yeah. And I mean, I know other drugs are probably easy to get, but alcohol's in the grocery store and gas stations. Like, you can't even go get, you can't even go get gas or groceries without seeing it. So
it's
I mean,
everywhere.
It's so big to overcome that and to stop drinking. Like, and I mean, do you ever crave it, or do you ever want it? Or is God taking
I'm not going to lie. The first summer for me was huge. Like, I compartmentalized, like, going to the beach with having alcohol on the beach.
Yeah.
So I had a hard time even going to the beach. I didn't go to the beach for the first year in my sobriety. I have slowly introduced it back to myself. And even I love music, loved going to concerts. I couldn't go to a concert or anything like that because I knew that I used alcohol to go to the concerts. Yeah. So now I've slowly kind of started going back into them, and I don't really need it anymore to, like, have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think I used alcohol to help me with my anxiety. But now that I'm dealing with my anxiety and my feelings and all of the things that I need to as a woman, I've figured out I don't need alcohol anymore, because all it was doing was pushing everything down.
Yeah.
So, and layer by layer, here I am,
Right. Yeah. So you kind of feel like alcohol was kind of just covering it up, like sugarcoating. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing to me. I mean,
there's a lot under there, and under that ego and in that core and that pride.
Sometimes it's hard for me, though, when you talk about yourself. It's hard to think, like, that you were a drinker or anything like that, because every time when we've hung out, like, I've just felt like we were 14-year-old slumber party girls, facials, doing each other's hair, makeup, and just doing nothing.
I never really drank or did anything bad around you.
I know.
Really.
And that's why when you talk about it,
I feel like I didn't need it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Whenever I picture, when you say, like, partying or something like that, it's hard for me to picture you, like, partying. Is that weird? And we've known each other our whole lives. Like, we've been around each other. I know all your friends. I know the friends that you're talking about that's partied with you.
Yeah.
But I don't ever remember you partaking in it, or... I mean, that just shows what a good friend you are.
Yeah, I didn't want you to see me that way.
Yeah. And you've really always been classy.
I was ashamed of myself.
Morals. Yeah.
I was ashamed of myself.
Wow. Well, I think you're a strong person. And that's definitely courageous. Like, I love your stories. I love how you went through such crazy and terrible things just to come out in the clear, to be able to be on this, like, podcast and share this with people. It means so much to me.
It's big for me. I think that I have a huge story, and it's going to help other women not be afraid and know and understand that they can do it too. Yeah.
I also feel like I'm writing a book right now, and I feel like that's courage.
That is absolutely courageous.
My book is called It's Not Always Smart to Be Pretty. So it talks about my struggles of not being smart, but always being pretty, and even being complimented on how pretty I was, but never how smart I am, which I mean, I knew I wasn't smart because I was raised around a sister that was so smart, and she's just such a beautiful person, and I love how smart she was, but how encouraging she was to me. And my mom always said, like, when my sister, she made straight A's. And if she didn't get the bonus question right, because she got everything else right, she would just beat herself up about it and be upset about it. And my mom was like, well, Tara, you need to do a little bit better than that. Like, do good. Like, get that bonus question right. But then I would make a C or a D, and my mom would be like, that's passing. Like, good job. So I asked my mom later on in life, like, why did, like,
you pushed me a little harder like you did her?
Yeah, but my mom said because that's what you were capable of. And that's courage for a mother. And, I mean, my sister, she is a genius. She's always been so smart to me. Like, even medical stuff. She's just a very, very smart person.
But see, I look at you like you're smart.
Oh, thank you.
You're not just pretty to me.
Yeah.
You're smart too. That's why
thank you.
You know, wanted to like not be a certain way in front of you because I knew you were correct.
Yeah.
I knew you were living the right way.
Yeah.
That is smart.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that being smart, you know?
Yeah,
I
was not being smart. I was not being smart. When I tell you I could have died, I'm not kidding. That was not smart.
No. In 1 Peter 5:7, turn all your worries over to him. He cares about you. I think that verse alone will help us be courageous and have courage. True courage that I want to have all the time is to be able to turn all my worries over to God. And that just hits home to me because I just want to be more courageous.
Me too.
And I want to be.
And trusting.
Yes.
And if an issue comes up, be like, I can't do nothing with it. Lord, please take it from me. And it just not let it worry us or consume us so much. Like
the producer, I think in one of our episodes, I'm not sure which one, but he had said, the Lord grant me the serenity to change the things I cannot. I'm not sure of what the
rest of it goes.
Yeah. But pretty much
the serenity prayer.
Yeah, the serenity prayer. And that is exactly how we need to be. Just if we can't do anything about it, we can't.
Except for us, for who we are. You know, we can't change. He knows we're not going to be perfect.
Yep. And all we can do is just pray.
Yeah.
And
we're all sinners.
Amen.
So
we are. One of the most common acts of courage we see is when someone stands up for themselves and what they believe in. Just think about the people that's been martyred. Britt.
Yeah.
The missionaries that have been killed for what they believe in. That's courage.
Yeah.
That hits home to me.
Yep.
And it's amazing. I mean,
there's countries where Christians can't pray at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're lucky here in America and can pray anywhere we want.
Lucky, yeah.
We're so spoiled here.
Yeah. We're definitely
And we
blessed.
take things for granted. We really do.
Yeah, and we need to think about it because if we had a gun held to our house, our head, do you believe or do you not believe? What would you say? You know, that's courage.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say I believe because I know where I'm going.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And
even when I was lost and wasn't saved yet, I would be like, I believe.
I know you would.
It's instilled in us.
It is.
When we're on the brink of could be dying and that lick of a moment, like who do you think of?
Yeah.
What do you think about?
What do I think of when we're on the verge of dying?
Yeah, when you could be dying, like who do you think about?
I think about God. I call out to him, save me.
Exactly.
Help me.
Yeah. It's instilled in us.
Yeah, in fact, this is so crazy because a friend of mine, he said that something bad had happened to one of his loved ones and his other loved one didn't believe. And she called out to God. And she didn't even believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
So just that in itself is an amazing
She had
testimony.
no one else to call out
Exactly. But it's almost like you believe. You believe and don't even know you believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've experienced stuff like that.
Because we have the Spirit inside of us, and His little voice is just like, hey, you know that gut down there is telling you something. Because
we are created in His image, and He is our Father. Mm-hmm. He's the Father to the people that are not saved.
Yes, correct.
It's just
because He made all of us, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I love this.
This was a good one right here. This is really probably my favorite one.
Yeah, mine too. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Mm-hmm. And we encourage you guys to have courage and share about some of your stories, because we definitely want to hear about it. See you next time.
Yeah.